than quite a few. Actually, would it be okay if we?
Would you
It's fine.
prefer if I didn't record it? Sorry. Is it okay to record it or
Yeah.
no? No? No recording? Uh,
Actually, record it, and at the end, I'll see how it goes. If
okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, sure. You let me know. I can send it to you as well.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's not really a message; it's more of a sharing, but it's something I've realized. Basically, I will share my screen first. And so as some of you know, I have moved to London in 2018 to study here photography. And obviously, when moving to a new country or moving somewhere new, there's gonna be ups and downs. It's not gonna always be up. And this is the talk that I'm gonna give today, or the message I'm gonna share today with you guys, is something that has been, I guess, inspired from one of the USA morning devotion Facebook Lives, where Dr. Young shared these two quotes, which I screenshotted from PowerPoint, and I couldn't find anywhere else. And it says, without experiencing God's real sorrow, you cannot experience God's real joy. And when grief meets grief, it is resolved. Therefore, only when I meet God's sorrow, my sorrow is resolved. Before we meet the God of joy, we must first meet the God of sorrow in order to experience the God of joy. So to start the story, when I moved to London, I moved to quite a few places because I didn't have, I wasn't really well in the first place I stayed. It was a bit tricky, and it wasn't easy to find a place to stay because I didn't know that many people in London when I did move here, or at least I didn't know any families that were renting a room. So that led to me moving to Stratford, where it's probably the worst part of London. As because to be honest, it wasn't the best time when I moved there either, but as I moved in December, and I was obviously stressed with uni deadlines, stressed because I was overworking myself because they were taking me for granted at work. So I worked almost full time. I had uni to stress about. I had delved into helping with everything that I could at church and being there for all events I could and just helping out in general, and which led to a burnout and several breakdowns. And in that time, I obviously, because I'm also the eldest daughter in my family, didn't I didn't want my family to know how bad my experience was being or what I was going through, which created a lot of loneliness as well, since I was living in a house full of strangers where most of them didn't even speak English, and I barely ever saw them anyways. And as one does when they're finding themselves in a bad or dark place, they turn to prayer. I'm not saying I only pray when things are bad. I found that I was the place I could turn to, having no one else to share with. And during all of those prayers that I have, all of the praying and just sharing with God, I realized that I was putting myself more in a victim land, if that makes sense. And instead of I was more focusing on all of the negatives I was going through and everything that was wrong, and just obviously stressing because I was in the situation instead of taking a step back, and all the loneliness and everything, I was focusing more on myself, which I only realized I was doing while praying to God. And in that moment, I realized how a lot of things I was focusing on, I was making them bigger than they are. And I realized I was stressing about so much when actually God's sorrow was actually worse, because he's had all this, the whole of humanity against him, and all of the things that have failed throughout history and everything going wrong, and throughout history not having people to understand his heart or understand what he's going through or his sorrow, even, or even if they did understand some, and I I don't know. I think I understood a bit of how God felt in that moment, but obviously I could never answer that the degree he's been through it. And that in that moment, I've really changed my attitude, and it helped me get out of the situation I was, and I never realized how changing your attitude that way would actually help as much. And I managed to pull through to gather my strength, and I decided to do it for God rather than focusing on myself. And living for, I guess, the sake of God, or living for the sake of others, was what pulled me out of the situation I was in. And having, in a way, having met God's sorrow was how I was able to then meet joy, because coincidentally, I was invited to team, either offered or got the invited to team lead, in a workshop where I was also asked to give a talk, which I didn't think would come much out of, but I it was a powerful experience, just going through that and being able to share with a lot of harpies what I had gone through, which I hadn't done before, and also all the joy that I had received from all the harpies surrounding me, or the whole workshop atmosphere, and also visiting some friends afterwards, had really um, it really helped me get out of the place I was in. And afterwards, I found another family to stay with, and things went obviously uphill. Um, so in a way, I just wanted to share this because I felt like I should, because I haven't shared it really with anyone since it happened. And yeah, I just guess it would be a good reminder about trying to understand God's heart better, and how living for the sake of others, even when things aren't the best, might help us, help others, but also help ourselves. But obviously, we have to be careful not to overwork ourselves to the point where you are in such a bad state that you can't take care of others either. Um, so yeah, that's that's my talk today. I hope it was good. Um, yeah.
Questions?
Yes. Just a second.
Thank you. Okay, so then we have some questions. Do you want to read them, Alma, first?
Yes. What do you think about the quote? How do you personally relate to God? Do you give comfort to God? Do you take comfort from God? Is there a balance? And how would you describe your general attitude?
Meu, a minha quer calma.
Bea's Wi-Fi just went
Calma, ok,
down. Ui.
Estás-me a ver?
No,
Muda Muda para outro.
Qual outro?
Ai, porra.
Não dá para mudar para outro.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. We had an issue with the internet just now. Sorry about that. That was okay. Yeah, okay. So then Alma's gonna put the questions in the chat, but yeah, we just want to thank Alma for sharing. This is actually a story that I haven't heard before either. I've been trying to hear it before a few times, but I guess yeah, so it took some strength or like some reflection, or just some planning to share it actually. So thank you very much, Alma, for that. Yeah, and then I think moving forward, Alex wants to, like, his vision for this, I guess, community connect is to kind of step by step open more of a make a place or a space where people can share reflections or just stories, or I guess make a more open environment. Alex Stacy, I mean, sorry, Alex Spar. I just see you laughing, so I guess it's good. Yeah, not Eddie, Alex Stacy. Sorry about that. Yeah, so then, yeah, I guess it's like a good start for that. And yeah, thank you very much again, Alma. And I would assume that Alex Stacy has some breakout rooms prepared for us where we can just go in and discuss these questions.
Again.
Or what defines that, and then yeah, we just super analyzed the quote and we basically went phrase by phrase and analyzed it and discussed it, and I feel like we were just cut out there when the time went off. But yeah, a lot of politics. I don't know what I could share. I guess it doesn't relate a lot to the question or to the questions or to the theme, but that was what was happening in my group. Yeah, would anyone want to share something from their group? Any good points, discussions, questions, unsolved questions, any detours?
Maybe I can share.
Thank you.
We talked. Do give comfort to God. We kind of reflected on this. Like, we don't think about this on a daily basis. Like, how am I comforting God today? You know, like we don't. I guess that maybe kind of feels a bit abstract to some of us. That maybe don't make that as a number one aim on a daily basis or like a weekly basis. Or generally, that's like a basis. You just kind of usually just how you receive God's love and how you can share it, kind of. But yeah, the way we kind of we thought about it, and the way we do it is by appreciating what God has to give us. Because if we don't appreciate what God has to give us, then it's like, what's the point in Him giving us beauty and joy and trying to make things nice for us if we're not going to enjoy it? You know, if He's going to go, it's a great environment, great opportunity, and we just say, this sucks, you know, life sucks, then are we really comforting God? Are appreciating Him? Yeah, so that's one of the way looking at it. Another one was to try and like do something for the sake of others as well. So there's different, just by loving other people, you kind of comforting Him, making Him happy, through giving God's like joy to others. You're also ideally comforting Him, and resolving sorrows and comforting other people. You're also comforting God as well. So yeah, that's a nice question kind of to reflect on.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing. Yeah, that's a nice reflection. My group didn't get to that question yet, but did you get to a conclusion if there is a balance, or like if you can find a balance between giving comfort and taking comfort?
I think because we didn't think about it too much, like we weren't thinking about giving comfort to God too much on a daily basis. We felt like we could do a bit more in our daily lives to kind of to try and work a bit more towards trying to give him comfort. So I guess that's appreciating others or comforting others or trying to bring joy to others. Yeah, that's something I feel like we always could do more. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, if I could for our group discussion, the second, oh no, the third one, the one, do you give comfort to God? Do you take comfort from God? And is there a balance? We kind of like talk about like there actually is only absolute balance in this, really. Oh, hi, Uncle. So it's basically like to give comfort to God is to kind of really understand his heart and really trying to give your utmost to him, and then like to like feel comfort from God is kind of on like, it has kind of like this kind of like circular motion, you know, this kind of a give and take, because you try to absolutely comfort God, and when it comforts God, it kind of comforts you because it makes you happy. So it's kind of like it only has this basic balance because you're in this kind of future relationship of trying to be good for God and God kind of for you. So yeah, trying to comfort God will make him happy in a way, and he will want to comfort you. So yeah, I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, it's like we discussed that there's basically only true balance in this if you want to comfort each other, because it's in this circular relationship. Yeah.
Thank you, Mano. Yeah, that feels like divine principle lecture right there. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other ideas? Any other thoughts, questions?
If no one has any other ideas or thoughts, I can maybe just yeah, our group had several different ways of relating with God. First, we kind of had to try and understand like how we experience God, but yeah, I guess everyone had their own way. One was by taking him into every single moment of your day, kind of any small decision or like decision to kind of have him there to help you, guide you to the right decision. Number one was to kind of during big moments to kind of reflect upon and try to understand his heart and what's the right thing to do, especially if there's like a bit more heated moment, or it could be having an argument or conflict, and you might have not best intentions in your heart, and you kind of just reflect on it and kind of understand his loving heart and take that on. And yeah, there's also kind of just through appreciating what he has to give as well. Again, appreciation. I wouldn't say that word, but yeah, kind of through appreciating what he has to do, give is also great. Yeah, and understanding himself in what he is to you as well is how you relate to him. I think someone also said they after 2 long weeks of struggling, they kind of took some time to just understand his heart and take a moment, step back and write down it, redirect their lives, because they felt like they were ungrateful and well, they were overwhelmed, but they kind of took a step back to relate with God and understand his heart. So, and try and redirect their aims towards what would give them a higher fulfilling life and a more happier life and grateful life. So yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I just remembered we really analyzed the quote, so then yeah, we just realized how this quote can actually be applied to life in general. And then I guess for people that are not Christian, like the God person in the quote can be also like how do you say, changed, or like something else could be in that place, and then it would make as much sense as well. And then how, yeah, someone in my group just brought the point about how comparing yourself with other people wouldn't be as productive, like comparing your sorrow or like needing that comparison. I hope I'm not like translating the idea wrong, but I think that's a good point. Someone shared a quote again. Yeah. I can share the quote again. Sorry. Yeah, about you can meet sorrow without having the need for comparison, I guess.
Well,
Anyone
how would you overcome that? Sorry, we also discussed that, but we didn't know the correct answer to that.
True.
To
I'm not comparing.
not comparing. Yeah, that's how one person in our group related.
I think.
How would you?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think just kind of you don't have to compare. There isn't a need for someone to have a greater sorrow, I guess, or I guess just knowing there is a sorrow out there besides you. Okay, that's my understanding. Besides yourself, like I would say, okay, sorry, I'm just looking at the comments as well. So just knowing there is sorrow beside, and it's not just you, then it doesn't consume your reality. That's what I would say. So if I'm in this situation with this problem and there is sorrow around me, and I just kind of stay in my bubble of sorrow, and then I dwell there, it gets bigger and bigger because that becomes reality, and then the only thing that exists is that sorrow and me. So I guess just being aware of sorrow outside yourself, in this case God's sorrow, it kind of allows you to get out of that bubble and observe, like see, and then kind of make sense of it, instead of the real situation. I guess you can, it's not just a feeling, it's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
I would like to add something, if it's okay. Yeah, I think understanding God's sorrow. I think one of the things that you can understand God's sorrow is by understanding that God is omnipresent. So what it means is like he's at all places at the same time. And so, they say that, in humanity's history, like over 90% has been at wars. Like we've been killing each other for 90% of humanity, and so, and that's really painful from God's perspective, is, his sons and daughters are killing each other and going through these struggles and things like that. And just I think we can the question was, yeah, I think we can try to understand that, God feels our sorrows, and all people's sorrows, and even nature's sorrows, because we chop the trees and use it for toilet paper and things like that. Sometimes unnecessary use nature for our selfish reasons, and I think those things also hurt God. And I think that's one of the perspectives that I think we can see from God's sorrow, that He's omnipresent. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess we can go on and on. This is a quite interesting discussion, in my opinion. But would anyone want to say something else as well, or share something? The stage is yours.
Well, this was like something we shared in our group. I liked what Eugene said, in terms of looking at God as him being there. Like, for example, what she does usually, like whenever like she would like stab her toe hit her toe on like the table or something. It's like, oh my God, like he's right there feeling her pain, like kind of like God is like, whatever I'm going through right now, God is going through it as well. And like, you know, there's just like it's me and him, and not that God is just like all the way up there and I'm like down below, you know. So yeah, I don't even think I said it right, but but it was along those lines.
Thank you. That's really cute. um oh, Alma, do you want to say something?
Yes. So that's also one of the things that was shared in our group, of like having God going through whatever you're going through with you. So whether that be sorrows or something bad, or that be your achievements, or even like just daily life, having him going through it with you, or inviting him to be with you. And in a way, just not having him only in the sorrowful parts or the joyful parts, but knowing both sides of God and having God know both sides of you.
Okay. Thank you for all the contributions and for everyone who shared. And I guess this is a very interesting topic, or I guess there's a lot to talk about. So I don't know, I would personally suggest having games, but also having like a discussion group so people could choose. I'm up for talking for a while. Yeah, but I think it was really nice. I hope that everyone enjoyed their discussions, or they could get something out of it, and then, you know, some juicy points for the week. But yeah, I think I personally liked it, and then feel free to come next week because there's more. But yeah, I think we're just gonna end it for now with the prayer, and then after that we'll have games, and if people are up for talking, I guess that could be an option as well. Yeah, so maybe to keep the waiting time, unless someone wants to offer a prayer, I could pick someone. Is that okay? Is everyone up for that decision? Yeah. Okay, Rodden. It's okay. I won't choose you. Yeah, but maybe Mano, you went like this. So is it okay?
All right. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Join me in prayer. Heavenly parents, dear parents, good evening. I am now with my brothers and sisters here, and we just had a really beautiful discussion about you and about our relationship with you and our life. And I just thank you for being by our side now. And I hope it could bring you joy. And I hope you could really feel invited and feel like this is something you can be proud of. And yeah, just thank you for letting us be able to meet each other and be able to have this time together with you. And I'm really grateful for each person who joined today. And yeah, I think you're proud of each person here. And yeah, no, I'd just like to end this meeting that we had, this call, through this prayer. In the name of all of my brothers and sisters here, and in my name, Anamasna, Frida Petreda, Martimasna, Manafemi Santalbini, Aju.
Aju.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the talk, Alma. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Bea, for facilitating everything as well today. And thank you for the contributions of the prayers from Hannes and Mana as well. Thank you. It's really nice to kind of have a deeper kind of sharing of your experiences, Alma, as well. Yeah, I think we all three of us kind of attended, me, you and Bea attended Project Phoenix this weekend, and kind of had this moments of, oh, Stephen also, sorry, moments of sharing a bit deeper about our lives and going beyond kind of the surface level. And I really kind of hope to be able to try and implement the same environment they created there to these sessions, because sometimes we just brush over questions and maybe don't authentically listen to each other, or don't authentically share deep enough, or like don't feel vulnerable enough, or kind of stuff like that. But I ideally kind of want everyone to kind of be able to, if anyone wants to share a bit deeper, or be understood a little bit deeper, or have anything up in their lives to reflect on, yeah, just come ahead. I can either create a sharing group, or we can just have sessions like these where we kind of share deeper depending on whatever you'd like to do. Yeah, and so yeah, it'll be great if we could create that kind of environment of listening, understanding, and sharing, and being authentic as well. So yeah, thank you for listening to me. Please message me if you either want sharing groups to go into deeper discussions throughout the week, or if you ever want to give a talk about some like your life story or something. We could even take turns giving testimonies. Yeah. So thank you again for listening.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you. So yeah, let the games and discussions begin. Wow. What do we want to do? So Bear said that she might want to go into discussions. Oh yeah, if you want to go now, feel free. Thank you for attending again. No obligation to stay. You can politely start off now.
That is not an option. You can't leave.
We love you, and we hope you have a lovely evening. If you need to go now, but otherwise, yeah, let's